everybody, I'm Suzanne Lively. Welcome to A Lively Perspective. On this channel, I share with you my love of homeschooling and my passion for everything book related. In today's video, I'm sharing how I planned our upcoming school year and our schedule for the 2021 to 2022 school year. Now, this video is, I think, the 6th or 7th video in my back to school series. So if you want to check out those other videos, please be sure to do so. I'll link it up above and down below. This is the open dated teacher's planner. And this one is a beautiful one. I picked up at Winners and I use that to schedule my YouTube videos and everything else in my life, basically. So I'm going to set that aside. I think some people may like to have everything in one, but I need to keep these things separate. All right, I'm going to walk you through what I did to plan our upcoming school year. First, I sat down with a piece of paper and I brainstormed, and the first question that I asked myself is, what do I want to teach this year? What else do I want Vivian, my daughter, to learn that is beside the basic subjects like math and language arts, that sort of thing? And there were some things I wanted to add into the schedule. First, I wanted to read the Burgess Bird book again. We had read it in the past as part of our morning basket, but I wanted to read that again. I don't think we totally finished that book, number one. The second reason is I discovered a curriculum that I love that goes with that Burgess, Thornton W. Burgess Bird book. And I've already mentioned this in the curriculum video. You can definitely check that out. This was the Simple Studies Guide. So I'm going to add that into our morning basket again this year. I'm very happy about that. The other thing I wanted to add in this year was Spanish lessons. So we're going to start to learn Spanish. I'm going to be learning alongside my daughter, though I suspect she'll probably catch on faster than I, but we'll see. Anyway, I picked up the Song School of Spanish. So this is the CD that came with it, and it came with a DVD and a book. Also in my curriculum video, I'm just showing you because this happened to be by the table I'm sitting at, so I thought I'd show you. And the other thing that I added in was art with Trista. I really wanted to make sure I did a little bit of art with Vivian, which really I wanted to add some fun things into our homeschool so it doesn't just feel like all work, work, work. And I say that because these are very simple little art projects, because she's actually taking an art class this fall with a professional artist. And I'm going to be using this in combination with Exploring Nature with Children, which is a curriculum. Nature study is something I'm going to be a bit more intentional about this year because I have dropped it every other year, to be honest. So this year I'm determined to do nature study one afternoon a week. And I look forward to doing that and seeing what it brings into our home. By the way, there were many things I wanted to add into our homeschool this year. But once I get through this process I'm going to walk you through, it became evident that, I just couldn't do it all, even though I want to do it all. So this is what I kind of narrowed down. And I picked up this book, and I really wanted to do it this year, Classical Music to Enjoy Day by Day. And this is A Year of Wonder by Clemcy Burton Hill. And it's like a daily, each day of the year, there's an introduction to a piece of music, and there's some history there, and there's a YouTube list, like you can listen to the song as well. I was so pleased when I asked Vivian what she wanted in her school year. Is there anything in particular that she wanted? She definitely said, I want music appreciation again, because she loved it and we didn't do it last year. So that made me really happy. And the second question I asked, what curriculum am I going to use for all the subjects? For example, what curriculum am I going to use for math, for history? And I'll briefly mention some of it here in this video, but again, I did a curriculum choice video, so I don't want to be repetitive. I'm just going to say we did choose Story of the World for history, and I'm saying that because that's something that I knew I wanted to start in her 3rd grade. We're doing that. And I'm going to use those lessons as an example on how I planned some of these things. Okay, the next step I took, which would be basically step 3, I pulled out a calendar for the school year and I highlighted all the days I wanted to teach. Then I found out what were the professional development days for the public school system in our region. And the reason that I did that is because I love to put Vivian in classes during professional development days, like some camps, because around town they offer really great theater camps and art camps when they have professional days. Vivian loves to go to those, and it's kind of, I consider it a school day for her because it's an intensive day for her. I'm saying that because the second thing I did was then I highlighted and noted the days that she's going to be at those camps. Now I consider them to be school days because they're all day. I subtract those days that she's in camp from her total school days so that the number that I'm left with are the number of lessons that I know I can teach in a year. So it wouldn't do me any good to base all my lesson plans on a number that I already know isn't going to happen. So for example, if I had 300 days and 5 of them are in camp, then I can only teach 295 days. So I need 295 lessons, for example. Then I printed off a blank calendar, which is what I'm showing you here without all my scribbles all over it, because I put that on the top. So I put that on top of the one that has all my scribbles, and it goes in the very front of this is my binder. And the reason that I do that is because every day I teach throughout the year, I highlight the day. So that's my quick, easy way of keeping track. So I'll just see, yeah, here's the one that has all the mess all over it. And then I put in the clean copy. So I know how many days that I have schooled throughout the year, how many I might want to catch up on. And at the end of the year, I have an accurate number of the days I taught. Okay, step 4 was I asked myself, what do I want my days to look like? And in terms of how many hours do I think I want to teach? What do I want my mornings to look like? My afternoon, that sort of thing. So I considered that and kind of gave myself a loose schedule. And then, which is this, I went through and I did my school year and laid out my day, what I think it would look like. And that moved around quite a bit till I got to this. In case you're curious, what I decided was we'll do our morning basket, 8 to 9. We do it for an hour. And then we take a break and get ready and make our beds. I love the idea of our morning basket. We're actually getting this really fabulous new corner couch, so we're really excited about that. I love the idea of coming down and cuddling in pajamas, doing our morning basket and having breakfast, that sort of thing. And when that's finished, I kind of want to have a little break it up, get ready for the day. We'll come down to the table. We're going to do school for an hour and 15 minutes. Then we're going to have a half-hour snack break. And then we'll come back to the table. We're going to do our looping schedule music appreciation. And then we're going to have lunch for an hour. And I have also listed some afternoon activities. And these are really for fun. They are the subjects like nature study that really don't fit anywhere else, but I think we both enjoy it. I did want to take a minute to talk about routine. I'm really focusing on routine this year. I talked a lot about this in a previous video that I did planning our world studies curriculum for the year. To be clear, what that means is I'm focusing on routine, not so much in making sure I get X number of lessons done in my 1 hour schedule for language arts. We'll put in a lesson, but the routine is what's important. Stick to the routine and the rest will follow. That's my attitude. If I have lesson 1 for a 15-minute increment, and if I think I can be done in like 2 minutes, then of course I would finish it. But for the most part, I'm sticking with that routine and we'll finish the rest tomorrow or the next time it's scheduled. Getting back to the steps that I took, I created this schedule and then I looked at some looping that I wanted to do, some looping schedules. Now, I wanted to loop science, history, and world studies, and there's certainly way more advanced videos out there on looping that you can watch. But what that means for me is I decided that I would like to do science 2 times to every 3 history and world studies. So what that looks like, I don't know if you can see that there, is that it ends up looping history, science, world studies, history, science, world studies, history, world studies. And then we start all over back up at the top. And I also decided to loop a couple things for language arts. And the next step that I did when I made that decision was that I went ahead and created bookmarks. And the reason that I did that was because I wanted to take the confusion out of looping for myself. So I always think I understand it, and then there comes a moment where I'm like, oh God, what day is it today? What am I supposed to be doing? I took that out of the equation. I created these bookmarks and on a spreadsheet like in Excel, and then I sliced them up and laminated them, put them on this ring. But I don't know, I'm hoping you can see. So I have our morning basket, and the blue is like the breaks that we're taking. Oh yeah, I forgot. I second calendar. Vivian asked to do calendar again this year. She likes doing it. Okay, so our day starts off with the morning basket and our calendar. Then we have 3 language arts, which is, I'll tell you that in a minute because I'm looping a couple things in there as well. Then we have our snack, Spanish, music appreciation, math, then our looping subjects. I put looping schedule. I guess I could have put looping subjects. Anyway, next time. Piano, lunch, and afternoon activity. I want to say a couple things before I move on to the looping in more detail. I put piano in here before lunch because last year we were leaving her piano practice, which by the way is 10 to 15 minutes. It's not a long time, but we were leaving it to later unrelated to school, and she didn't practice. So this year I want it part of the school day. It will end our school, and I'm hoping that's a positive thing, that it's a signal that school is finished, but I'll let you know. That's kind of the idea behind that placement. And music appreciation is only going to take 5 minutes, so it seems like a lot, but I think it's doable, actually, and especially where we're focusing on routine, that I'm not going to get tied up in having to get things finished this year, although I might need reminders for that. Because of this particular looping schedule with the science, history, and world studies, I ended up doing 8 days of scheduling. If you were to look at these, like day 1, you see it starts with history. History, science, world studies, history, science, world studies, and then history, world studies. So this is like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8. So it ends up giving me 8 days, 8 bookmarks. In our schedule for language arts, you see we have 3 spots, 1, 2, 3. This will stay the same every day. So for the 8 days, we will always do 5 minutes of break the code. And she can do 1 or 2 pages of break the code every day. Whatever she gets done in 5 minutes, that's fine. And then I'm going to, in the second slot for language arts, we're going to rotate alpha phonics with spelling, sequential spelling. So it will go alpha phonics, spelling, alpha phonics, spelling. And then we have in the third language arts spot, I have a quiver of arrows for 3 days, and on the 4th day, we're doing Jot It Down. The reason I wanted to do that is because Jot It Down is a writing project once a month, and I wanted to make sure that Jot It Down was done at least once a week. So this way it ensures that at least once a week, we are also doing Jot It Down along with her quiver of arrows, and we're going to go through quiver of arrows for the ones that we have. These are all Brave Writer programs, Jot It Down and the Quiver of Arrows. And that's what we're doing in our morning basket this year. I'll do another video on morning basket, but I also want that there. And again, that will change throughout the year as well. I also did these up for the afternoon activities, and I'm not going to flip through those. I'll tell you what they are, because I went back in and added her courses, and it has the exact course time and name. But this one is the one day that we're home. So Wednesdays, we don't have to leave the house. And I scheduled our afternoon activities so that we also could stay in our pajamas all day on Wednesday if we wanted to. Now we have a couple other days where we're actually at home in the day, but then she has a couple little courses for fun in the evening. But for example, this Wednesday afternoon activity is a writing Wednesday, and that's where she's going to write to one of her pen pals and do art with Trista and poetry tea time. I have a couple extra things on there on Wednesday. Might be a little more time consuming, but because we're home and there's no traveling involved, I just feel like that works. It'll feel okay to do so. And her writing Wednesday, when she does her pen pal, I've kept it really simple this year, and I bought some postcards. I wanted to help Vivian maintain contact with her pen pals, but she was starting to feel like it was work. So I'm gonna backtrack a little and just do postcards for a while. She'll still get to practice her writing and communicating that way, but I wanted to lean more towards fun from now on, and we'll see how that goes. So if you wanted to know our afternoon activities, we have Monday, we have Monday mail, which are letters. We get subscriptions. Letters come in the mail, so we'll open one or two of those, and then we're going to play a game. And on Tuesday, it's Bake for Poetry Tea Time for the next day if we want to. There's a nature study, and we're also going to play a piano game. And Wednesday, like I just said, Art with Trista, Poetry Tea Time, Writing Wednesday. Thursday, we have biking and hiking, and it's Library Day. And then on Friday afternoon, we're going to do a History of the World project. Creating those bookmarks was step 5. Now, step 6 is taking all the curriculum and breaking them down into lessons. And that's done for every subject. For example, I said I was going to use Story of the World. I went through and wrote down all of the chapters in that book. So, and I did want to start off, before we get into Story of the World this year, I want to do a lesson on timelines with Vivian. So I put lesson 1 over here, and then the name, it's timelines. And then lesson 2, we're going to do the introduction and the history of the world. And laying it out that way, I end up having 44 lessons. So that's more lessons than weeks that I have scheduled for this school year. It's good to know going in though, because if I wanted to finish Story of the World this year, which I do actually, because I want to move into the second book next year. So what does that mean? Am I going to combine lessons? Am I going to drop lessons? And then you have the information and you can make that kind of decision. And I have yet to decide. I'm waiting to see how it goes once I get into the lessons. But I know that now going into it. So I do that for every subject. And then in my binder, I start off with the calendar, and then I have like details in the schedule. So that's where my looping schedule and everything goes. And then I have lesson plans, and I have all the subjects divided back here. The last thing I do is I take my teacher planner and I add in any curriculum scheduling that I have that's outside of my control. For example, Exploring Nature with Children for 2021 to 2022. She puts up a schedule every year on her website. If you have that curriculum, you can follow it. And you don't have to follow it. It's totally up to you. But for me, I really want to follow this schedule because I'm in a Facebook group with others that have bought this curriculum, and there's a lot going on in social media that has to do with the weeks that she's outlined. So I like feeling and being a part of that community, and it's helpful because you get lots of ideas from other people and vice versa, and I love the community aspect of it as well. I take this, and I had one other one this year. I bought Jessica's holiday curriculum. So that's Jessica from the Waldock Way. I want to add those into the calendar as well. So I take my teacher planner, and this is a very simple planner, and it has the months. So in September, for example, I have gone through and I put the harvest moon. So over here, I'm putting these dates, Exploring Nature, so that I know when I look at this, what's coming up. And then if I want to get books like ahead of time from the library to read during those weeks, I kind of have a heads up and I can do that. And I then can put this in the calendar as well for some of the same reasons for planning ahead. And I haven't done that yet, so that's the next thing I have to do. Because of the looping schedule, I feel that I might have presented this. It might seem a little complicated, but I actually find the looping schedule, once I have this, to be quite easy to understand. If I leave it like this and I don't put it in this format, of basically 8 days, where it goes through the whole looping schedule. If I don't do that, I find I can't always wrap my head around this easily. And I don't want to keep revisiting that throughout the year. And believe it or not, once you have those steps done, it feels quite easy to go forward. Those were the 7 steps that I use to outline our upcoming school year. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. If you'd like to see something further, let me know in the comments below. And I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you soon with another video.